not a term that I'm often asked to use in this context because um, it would be totally unfamiliar to the types of art that are common in Flint. Um, but it's a term that I use often in reference to types of work that I'm inviting, and as a kind of general frame for a certain way of working. And certainly, I think it would be fair to describe the public art project as a whole as engaging in that conversation about social practice. But I guess that it, it's I would broadly define it as a whole range of work that is engaging audiences in participation in contemporary art, through work that's often immaterial, but that has at its heart some kind of social aim and usually involves some type of interaction or participation, often with community groups, and that's in some way probably all in a tradition related to Joseph Beuys and the idea of the I can't remember what he called it now.
Social sculpture.
Social sculpture. Yeah, I mean it's all somewhat in that tradition, I suppose.
Could you give me a concrete example?
Oh, well, the project that we just finished was called the Free City Festival, and it was a public art festival that had its aim to transform a place in the city and to make it a public space accessible to residents of the city, in order for them to um, in the future, be able to use it themselves in some various other ways. And then there are a whole range of other intentions behind it that have to do with transforming the public image of the city of Flint, both to its residents in terms of their capacity to make change and to initiate activity and to think more positively about their own city, as well as people from the outside who have received an image of the place through news and through the various types of media that circulate about Flint that aren't very representative of the way that people actually live in the city. So uh, the, that, that's just one example, but quite a lot of what we're doing could be thought of within that framework.
What do you see as some of the challenges of this field?
Well, I think that there needs to be a pretty I don't want to use the word balance, but there are two extremes that I think are both important. On the one hand, I think it is helpful for work to be artist led, because if it's not, then it can be fairly bland and uninteresting to anybody. So it's helpful if there is an artistic vision that is connected with the most generative practices happening in the global art field. On the other hand, it's really crucial for there to be a really great awareness of the need for community development, for community engagement very far in advance of the realization of the project. That there needs the two things need to be pursued very aggressively. I was going to say that there should be a balance between the two, but I think there needs to be an aggressive um, a pursuit of both ends of that spectrum.
How do you see the field evolving?
Um, well, I don't know. I like the idea of talking about useful art, which Tom Finkelpearl at the Queen's Museum really likes, and Tanya Bruguera. I think that it's a fitting way of talking about social practice as a field, and so I suppose that as long as it's a useful way of working, I hope it will continue. Um, but there may come a time when it's not particularly useful, and when you know, maybe there will be better um, social systems that will actually take the role that art is being forced to play because of the absence of very good social support networks on the part of the government and the culture. Uh, so, in a way, art doesn't need to be a sociologist or a social worker or a politician or whatever in all societies and all cultures. But it happened that in our moment, art's being asked to play uh, all of those roles because um, the other sectors aren't really acting effectively. And maybe it's always been true that they weren't effective, but um, I'm a bit of a Kantian in the sense that I do think that there is something of the sublime that is necessary in art. There's something unique that is proper to the role of art, and that doesn't exclude it having a social, political function. Um, but it's better if it does try to do something that is beyond those realms as well.